Good afternoon, I'm Milton Walker with the Midday News Special Welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can download our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the words Spot and Media. A mother and her daughter were killed during a robbery at a shop in Phoenix Park off Dunbeholden Road in St. Catherine about 10 o'clock last night. The deceased have been identified as 52-year-old Janet Moore and 19-year-old Tajona Roden. Operations Officer for the St. Catherine South Division, Leighton Gray, says the police were on patrol in Dunbeholden when they heard explosions coming from the informal settlement.
And when the police would have gone to that space, they came upon the two women with multiple gunshot wounds. There were two other small children that were present. The oldest one, I think, was 6 years old. And it's only the children and the two adults were there. So when the police actually, briefly from one of the oldest child, is that it is said that they robbed both women and they demanded more money. And when it was not forthcoming, they actually just began shooting these women.
The 11-year-old boy implicated in the fatal chopping of a teenager in Low River, Trelawney, has been taken to court. Trelawney police have confirmed that an order was made in relation to his well-being when he appeared before the Clarkstown Children's Court yesterday. The boy was taken into custody following Monday's incident in which left a 14-year-old student of the Albertown High School dead. Acting head of the Trelawney Police, Deputy Superintendent Carlos Russell, gave our news centre an update.
He was placed before the Clarkstown Children's Court for being a juvenile in need of care and protection. He was remanded to a place of safety outside the parish to appear at a later date this month back at court.
Several schools from St. Catherine took to the streets on Wednesday calling for peace. Led by their teachers, the students echoed calls for an end to violence. The march, which comes weeks after a teacher from the Charlemont High School was murdered.
We are tired of the violence against our citizens, and also we have suffered the loss of a teacher. And so this is a peaceful march by the school, and we were aided by our other neighboring school, McGrath High, Yuatan High, Dintle High, Bugwalk, all came out in support. Mr. Owell was a master maths teacher. Mr. Owell grew up with the school, members of staff and the community. And so to have lost him in such a tragic way is unforgiving. And so ends the main reason for this march. Well, from all indications, he was chartered and then criminal elements killed him.
When you have a male teacher, which you have so few of them these days, and being abducted and killed, then there's a problem. Because if you look in the schools, we're all female teachers and very few male teachers, and especially math teacher. And math, as you know, is a very important subject that we all need to embrace.
Faced with growing opposition from property owners, the government has issued instructions that no penalties or interest be applied on property tax arrears this fiscal year. This follows Wednesday's special meeting of the Cabinet, which discussed concerns about the property tax regime that took effect on April 1. A statement from the Information Ministry says instructions were also delivered to Tax Administration Jamaica and other agencies for the fine-tuning and implementation of decisions made. Information Minister Senator Royal Reid says Finance Minister Audley Shaw will provide details on adjustments to the regime next week in Parliament. The government has indicated that the new date for some public sector workers to begin making contributions to their pensions is June 1 this year. Addressing Parliament on Wednesday, Finance Minister Audley Shaw explained that the April 1 start date was delayed because of concerns raised by a number of groups about the immediate effect on their members to take-home pay if a 5% contribution is to be made.
So it has been decided that the police, teachers, and the parochial officers those are employees who work in the local authorities, that these categories will begin contributing 2.5%. 2.5%. The civil servants will continue to contribute 4% of their salary, which is what has been in the Widows and Orphans scheme. Note that all groups will continue to contribute these amounts in 2018 until April 1, 2019, Mr. Speaker, when the total contributions for all groups will increase to 5%.
He outlined other amendments.
It should also be noted that we are appreciative of the hard work and service that the police continue to offer to the country. And as such, recognizing the unique nature of their work, I met with them. I'd like to move, and I will be moving an amendment to Section 23 of the bill to allow the police to retire at 50 years old after completing not less than 30 years of service, subject to the approval of the Governor General, or as an option after completing not less than 30 years of service.
And the House has approved an amendment to the Constitution which will allow the government to make pension and gratuity payments from a fund other than the Consolidated Fund. 52 members of the House on Wednesday afternoon voted in favour of the measure. 11 members were absent. Following the contention over the country's independence celebrations, Culture Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange is defending the use of a consultant to help organise Jamaica 55 events. In a statement to the House of Representatives on Wednesday, Minister Grange asserted that the utilisation of professionals in the cultural and creative industries to support national activities is a long-established convention. She maintained that the professionals are not personal consultants to the ministry. Her response stems from statements made by opposition spokesperson on culture, Lisa Hanna, who questioned the hiring of a consultant as the artistic director of the 2016 Grand Gala. Ms. Grange maintained that the knowledge transfer is integral to the success of the planning of the cultural event. And a call is being made for an independent investigation into claims of nepotism and questionable activities at the Ministry of Culture. The call has come from head of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, Helene Davis-White. She says an independent probe is necessary given the charges and counter-charges by opposition spokesperson on culture, Lisa Hanna, as well as Portfolio Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange regarding Jamaica 55 celebration activities.
Issues like these are issues that arise almost on a daily basis in the public sector. And we have in fact expressed concern about the constant use of consultants when you have public sector members who are employed in particular capacities to carry out functions that these consultants are being asked to carry out.
During her contribution to the sectoral debate on Tuesday, Ms. Hanna, among other things, pointed to the appointment of a 31-member board and the hiring of a consultant to organise Jamaica 55 celebration. She claimed that the fees paid to the board had also been increased retroactively. Meanwhile, while speaking at the launch of the Jamaica 55 event yesterday at Jamaica House, Culture Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange said that celebrations such as Jamaica 55 are instrumental in fostering and maintaining national pride.
This is why celebrations such as Jamaica 55 are so important. They help to memorialize not just the struggle, but also the triumph of our nation. Indeed, the Jamaica 55 program is designed to highlight in various and meaningful ways the rich, vibrant history and culture of Jamaica and its proud people.
Ms. Grange maintained that it's not about only having celebratory events, but about leaving lasting legacy projects that serve as milestones in Jamaica's history. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that although Jamaicans are known universally for culture, music and sports, as a nation, Jamaica should improve its global image in other areas.
We are known for our creativity in culture. We have made strides in innovation and science, and we must become known for that as well. As much as we are known for our assertion our assertiveness, our outspokenness, our strident resistance of oppression. At age 55, we must also become known as a disciplined and orderly society.
In a TVJ News follow-up, Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says he's working with the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, to address the poor state of some of the island's garbage disposal sites. He was speaking during a recent tour of areas in Portland and in direct response to a story TVJ News aired about the plight of farmers who live close to the Doctors Wood garbage disposal site in Buff Bay. Mr. McKenzie said he has spoken to the Mayor of Port Antonio as well as the NSWMA Executive Director to address the farmers' concern about illegal dumping on their farm lands. He also noted that he will take a mammoth task to get the island's dump sites up to acceptable conditions, but insisted that he will work to do so.
Illegal dumping that continues to take place, not just in Portland, but other places across the country, is getting out of control, and it is creating some serious problems for the National Solid Waste Management Authority. We have been working to improve some of the conditions that exist at the dumps, because a lot of these dumps has been neglected over the years.
The farmers in Portland had complained that they were losing business because persons refused to buy crops grown so close to a dump site. They showed TVJ News that some persons were dumping their garbage on their farmlands at the entrance to the dump and not at the disposal site itself. And in sports, the Jamaica Basketball Association says the National Basketball League will return in 2017 with or without sponsorship. The return of the NBL, which has been defunct since the 2012-2013 season, continues to be thwarted by a lack of sponsorship. But JABA President Dr. Mark Bloomfield says they remain committed to their target of having the league back on the court in 2017 with a November date in mind.
Driving in the paint, a fade away, and not going.
So we are in the meeting stage, meeting with the stakeholders, the teams, to discuss how we're going to run the NBL. But we're going to have the NBL this year. I mean, my members would prefer if I did not state it this way, but I've always said, with or without a sponsor, we are going to have the NBL this year. But we are confident that once we start, that corporate Jamaica will come back on board and will help us to build back the sport in that way. But we are going to have our NBL this year.
Dr. Broomfield also sought to explain what will happen in the interim with players looking to stay active.
We're looking forward to the SBC Community Basketball League, and we have some activities for July and August. And then we are confident that that will propel us into the NBL in October, November thereabout.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Milton Walker. Join us at 7 for Primetime News on behalf of the news, sports and production teams. Good afternoon.